My name is Tommy Wret, and I'm the president for Swedish Transport Workers Union. We have seen a huge growth of foreign trucks in our roads in Sweden and the Nordics, and with that also social dumping, low-paid drivers with poor living conditions. We know that the driver, predominantly from Eastern Europe, are living in the trucks for months without any chance to go home or to visit their families. In 2015, Swedish Transport Workers Union decided to set up a project, Law and Order in the hauling industry. The project has mapped the major foreign trucking companies, the setup of the transport system in conjunction with applicable legislation, how they use several EU directives in the way that it was not intended. It shows that if this is continuing, we will have massive problem maintaining our collective bargaining agreements, and it will be a race to the bottom. In the autumn of 2017, we decided to permanent the project to be a part of our daily work within the international department. We have 2 full-time union officials to do this work. This film aims to show how many foreign companies misusing and are avoiding the EU directives to avoid taxes, collective bargaining agreements, causing drivers to unworthy life for a way of families and underpaid.
We started to look into 3 things, 3 EU directives. We are talking about the EU directives regarding international transports, cabotage. We are talking about combined transports and the directive regarding posted workers. We decided to look into how the European trucking industry and the Swedish had changed during the last years, and what the consequences were, which effect the directive has on the European open labour market, and which effect it has on the Swedish hauling industry. To start with, what was the purpose of these EU directives? What we read shortly was to, number 1, reduce empty miles. There shouldn't be any empty lorries on the roads. Number 2, reduce the environment impact. Number 3, try to get more cargo on the railway. Number 4, secure the workers' rights and working conditions. Okay, we heard about the purpose, and now, what is the result? It has become the exact opposite. The Law and Order project has shown that these EU directives has become a perfect toolbox for foreign companies to do business in Sweden on a permanent basis. Truck drivers from Romania, Slovakia and other countries are being shipped to Sweden for work, often by the company's transfer vehicles. Is this an international transport? Yeah, it is. It's an international transport of workers, not goods. The workers are dropped off at the location where the trucking companies has rented the grounds. They have facilities so they can eat, take a shower and wash their clothes. If we look into which kind of business model being used, we can see how foreign trucking companies have a base in Sweden. The trucks never do any hauling in the home country. They cross the border to Norway or Denmark, for example 1 or 2 times a week. Then they can start another cabotage route in Sweden. After a few weeks, a month, new drivers are being shipped into Sweden to the company's bases. We have documented how haulage contractors and agencies are using trucking companies from mostly Romania, Bulgaria and Lithuania to do domestic transports in Sweden. We've been talking with about 30 Romanian and Macedonian drivers. They've been here for 5 years. They are permitted to go home to their family, the wife and children, 2 times a year. They are paid with the national minimum wages, about 350 euros per month. Then the agencies pay them about €1 per 10 kilometer. That is illegal. We can see how foreign companies have a business in Sweden on a permanent basis, doing combined transports. This is without paying any taxes in Sweden. They have their own cargo trains coming to Sweden to a lot of locations everywhere. The routes are scheduled to arrive 5-6 days a week. On these locations, the foreign trucks are waiting to carry out the trailers and containers. And the drivers, they're living the trucks. They even spend the weekly rest in the cabin. And that is not okay. We have been talking to a lot of the Swedish trucking companies, and they are frustrated. As they say, they have to acclimatize themselves after the EU's open labor market. Today we have documented and we can see that the trucking company can have about 1 to 100 vehicles without any employees. Some of them are not even registered as employers. They open up foreign-owned subsidiaries or branches and takes in the workers from there. They also hire employees from temporary employment agencies. We can also see how they open up letterbox companies in, for example, Romania. They register the vehicles there and operate in Sweden. The Swedish company can then have an access right to those vehicles. In all these cases, the Swedish Transport Union and the ITF claim that all these drivers should be registered as posted workers. They should have the same salary as the colleagues in Sweden. This is to prevent social dumping and competition on equal terms, both for the companies and for the drivers. It's a matter of fact that in Sweden there is no foreign driver registered as a posted worker. We have seen the consequences all over Scandinavia regarding these EU directives. Drivers living in the trucks for months, years. Drivers taken in from the third countries like from the Philippines. Drivers living in misery. How organized crime just grows. And the price for this, it's social dumping and drivers that live like modern slaves. Hi, my name is Tommy Jonsson. I'm a union official, Swedish Transport Union. I've been working with this project since 2015. I have 2 questions to you, EU parliaments, commissioners and others. Why should foreign companies be able to do business in Scandinavia on a permanent basis without paying taxes, using this EU directive on international transports, cabotage? 2, why should a foreign company be able to do business on permanent basis in Sweden, Denmark, using the directive about combined transports without paying any taxes? This has to stop. We don't need more liberal EU directives. We don't need more social dumping. What we need is law and order in the hauling business in Europe.